When Time Moved Forwards by Joseph Wayne Clark. Ava had an amazing adventure on her family vacation. They rode roller coaster rides, and swam in a water park. He two brothers got scared, but their parents were always there to comfort them. Soon it was time to head back home. Ava's dad handed her a timepiece and said, "When I say so, set this clock forward an hour. We'll be heading east to our home, and when we go past a time zone we have to set all of our clocks." And then he packed everything into the car. The ride home was long and her brothers were getting on her nerves. They would play games where they would punch each other in the arm if one seen a truck or the other seen a car. The game was no fun at all for poor little Ava. Her mother was in the passenger seat up front reading her book she brought for the trip. She could tell that her dad was busy watching the road. Somewhere in her memory she remembered a boy, or was it a man? She whispered lightly to herself, "Timothy Estrange." What was that? Her mother asked in curiosity. "That's the name of her made-up boyfriend," one of the brothers announced. Looking frustrated at her brothers, Ava yelled out and said, "Shut up." The dad knew things in the back seat was getting wild and out of control. He looked at the boys and told them if they didn't behave he'd ground them for a week. They loved the outdoors so much they decided to take a nap until they got home. The rest of the ride was pleasant with just the father and Ava awake. After a while the dad looked at Ava through the back mirror and remarked, "I think now it's time to set the clock forward, daughter." Ava took the timepiece and spun the clock's hand forward an hour. Things ended up getting really strange. The cars were moving so fast around her, but her family's car was just sitting there in the middle of the road. People from the local towns were moving super quick as well. It was almost like the world was going at a super speed. She looked to her brothers who were next to her. In their place were two men in business outfits. She yelled and looked at her mother and then her father, who were now old with grey hair. She got out of the car and started to panic. When she stood up she noticed something else was odd. She now stood 2 feet higher. The clouds in the sky would move really fast, but the sun constantly shined. It was not just a dream, she realized. She remembered about the ride to the park. She remembered Timothy Estrange, who she met before. She knew something had to be done to set time back to normal. The train tracks were even in the place they were at last time. All of a sudden she met a little boy who was wearing a green and black striped shirt. "Tim? Is that you?" she asked him as he sat there crying. He got scared and in worry asked, "How do you know my name?" Ava wanted to calm him down and she said, "It's me, Ava. You helped me once before. Do you not remember me at all?" "No," he replied, and she noticed that she forgot about him once time was set to normal the first time. He must not have remembered the way she did. To make sure he was all right she decided to cheer him up. "It's going to be okay. I know what we have to do in order to get back to normal." "What do we have to do?" Tim asked with a sad sound in his voice. "Well, if I remember correctly, the sun says it's daytime and the moon says it's night time. We have to ride the train back up to the clock in the sky and set time forward again," she said to the frightened boy. She noticed she was at least 5 years older, but there was no telling how much she had grown. She knew she had to stay brave cause Tim needed someone to watch over him. "Come with me," she said to him as she grabbed his hand and led him to the train tracks. "Last time you were here you pulled this switch and the tracks pointed straight into the sky," she told him, which only puzzled the boy. Then Tim got stronger. "How do you remember me when I don't remember you at all? Are you a witch or something? How can I trust you?" he asked with more questions than he could speak. "'Cause we're in a time zone. On one side time is moving forwards an hour and on the other side time is moving back an hour. I know this cause it's happened to me before, and I mean someone was brave enough to show me what to do," Ava told him, thinking of herself as a mild-mannered adult compared to frightened little Tim. With a pull of the lever the tracks on the ground did in fact go straight up in the sky. The next thing she had to do was remember how Tim got the train to work before. "Come on Tim, let's get on the train and see if it will take us up to the sky clock," Ava asked, and Tim rushed towards the train. "I love trains," he said with cheer. When they were all aboard, she just remembered Tim did something with the controls, but she was so frightened back then she didn't recall what it was. To get the train to run, you got to turn those two levers in different directions. Yep. I know a lot about trains, Tim said, which was a relief to Ava's ears. She buckled Tim in a seat and went to control the levers. Once the train started going, she placed herself in a seat and was ready for the ride. Once they got up to the clock in the sky, she held Tim's hand as they walked off the tracks. Once I put the clock forward an hour, it will know what time it is and we'll both be in our family's cars like nothing happened. Tim, I'm going to miss this. I'm going to miss you, but I know it's the right thing to do. We have to set time straight, Ava said to Tim, who was just confused. How do I know this is going to work? You seem to know me somehow, but I just met you. Really, in my head, I'm thinking this is all a dream. Tim replied with an almost certainty in his words. Trust me, Ava added, and they headed closer to the clock. Everything was like it was before, except this time Ava was the older one and Tim was the younger one. She remembered how frightened she was back then and how Tim made her feel safe. She turned to Tim and made a really goofy face. He laughed and the two carried on to the front of the clock. I hope this works, she said, not knowing in her mind if the same exact rules would be the same. In the beginning I had to set this clock forward an hour to let time know it changes. So if I set this clock backwards, I should be letting time know it's changing again, she added as she grabbed a hold of the clock's hand. Yeah, but you keep saying you got to set time forward. Why do you think setting it back will make all this normal again? He asked Ava, who he looked at as a parental role now. Cause I'm going east and the sun rises in the east first, so time is 1 hour faster the more east you go, she told him, which was almost a direct quote from her mother before they made the trip. Okay, but my family was heading west, but let me get that switch. I'll pull the clock forward for us, Tim told her, and shockingly things made sense to Ava. Tim wasn't the one from before, this Tim didn't know her. Cause they haven't met before. If Tim moves the clock forward, he'll be stuck in time not knowing what to do. No! She yelled, but it was too late. The young Tim jumped on the clock's hands and sent Ava falling back in time to when she was in her parents' car. She had a strange feeling like she left something back at the park. Mom, I wanna go back. I think I lost something, she told her mom, and soon afterwards she forgot about time moving forwards. We all know Tim gets saved when time moves backwards. This is how he got stuck in time in the first place. He saves Ava, and they both have really good lives after that. Ava whispers, I wanna go back.